now we are joined once again by our special envoy, Carlos Montero, in Washington, D.C. with further updates. Hello, Carlos. Tell us what's everything going on over there.
So far, let me tell you about what's going on with Kamala Harris. The information we are getting right now, that is, she's in Howard University. They are telling us that the atmosphere is really happy. They are excited watching the results. There are many battle states that they haven't got yet the numbers to project a winner, but we are in the final hours of the voting here in the United States. Donald Trump, he's in Mar-a-Lago, su residence in Florida, is an important country club. They are telling us that he went to see some of the guests of the Mar-a-Lago, that resort, and he talked briefly with them. That's the information that we have so far of the two headquarters. The numbers keep coming. People, it's going to be closing all the polls, and hopefully in the next hours we are going to have a better idea of what's going to happen in this election, who is going to win this election. But I want to give a welcome to our coverage to Abel Núñez, Executive Director of Carecen in Washington, organization who help the immigrant. We've been following together the numbers that are coming. Are you surprised? What do you think about this?
Well, I think at this moment there hasn't been a surprise. It's really, the polls were correct. Everything is coming in as was expected. I think as the night goes in, we'll see what happens in the blue wall in Michigan, in Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. But the numbers are trending good for the vice president at this moment, but there's still a lot of more votes to count.
That's something is good to clarify, because maybe people are watching our coverage and they said, look the numbers. Donald Trump is ahead for quite a few electoral votes. But you think that Kamala Harris is doing okay? No panic.
No panic at this moment. You have to remember that usually in most elections, the Republican-leaning states always come in first. Then you get the big cities, because like in big cities like Pennsylvania, you will have the cities coming first, but there's still a lot of rural communities that take longer to take the vote in. So we're still good. I think we still have a couple of more hours before we're really going to see what the real tendencies are of this election.
That's what, is the atmospheric, like I was telling you before, in Howard University with all Kamala and his team is waiting. The result is upbeat, and they think everything is going okay. Tell me, what's the situation of the immigrants here in the United States in a campaign that they were so bad treated by Donald Trump? He said awful words about them, that the country been invaded by immigrants, and he's going to change that situation. How's the feeling on the street? How's the feeling of people you work with? What do they think about this?
Well, first I have to say that the first thing we have to say is that immigrants are a blessing to this nation. Having said that, there's a lot of fear in the community, because the rhetoric that has been coming from the Trump administration, from the Trump campaign, has been really created a lot of fear in our community. What are the things that he's projecting to do once he gets into office about mass deportations will impact our community, but will also impact our economy. I think that that's one of the things that people are forgetting, that immigrants are the backbone of the U.S. economy. And if Trump is allowed to do, if he wins what he plans to do, it will create pain for all Americans, not just immigrants.
A lot of people who follow Donald Trump and believe what he's saying, they have the misconception that illegal immigrants with not the right paper, they don't pay taxes, but they do pay taxes.
Correct. Right now, we have an estimate that in just 2022, they provided like $96 billion into the Social Security, because many work, but they work under the table, and so they can't collect that Social Security, so they pay into the system, but they can't take anything out. So besides that, they also provide labor. They are entrepreneurs, and so they move the economy. So when immigrants come into an area, they make the economy in the area better for everyone, not just immigrants.
You were telling me that the rhetoric, Donald Trump rhetoric, creates fears in the community. How do they express that fear?
Well, a lot of them are beginning to make plans. If Trump wins, they're thinking, what happens? Do they need to be thinking about moving back to their country of origin? There are many families here that are in what's called mixed status families, meaning that one person is undocumented, and then we have citizen children, maybe a legal permanent resident partner. So they're trying to figure out what happens to our children, what happens to us, what happens to their homes. A lot of them have houses in this country, they have lives, they have businesses, and at this point, they don't know what's going to happen if Trump wins.
And let's talk about the Democrats. Barack Obama, the vice president was Joe Biden. He promised a lot of things for the immigrant community in the USA. Immigration reform never happened. When one of the leaders of the party, Democrat Party, don't fulfill a promise, do you lose trust on that person? You think the Democrat could happen the same with Kamala Harris? She can promise a lot to the immigrant community, and then when she takes the presidency, she's going to say, maybe what I was promising to all those guys, I'm not going to be able to keep it up.
Well, I think that what we've seen in the last couple of years is that how we look at immigration in the U.S. has shifted to the right. So we have Republicans that have moved to the extreme right, and we have Democrats that have moved from the center to the right. So Kamala Harris is actually offering less. It's supporting a Republican bill, but what we will have on a Kamala administration is access and the ability for us to kind of shape her policy and hopefully make it softer so that immigrants can, with the power of the presidency, be able to continue to live here in this country and make this country great again.
Why do you think that immigration, the subject, switched to the right? Why?
Well, I think it's what happened in the last couple of years after the pandemic. We had a huge migration of the Venezuelan community, the Haitian community that came in large numbers in a short amount of time. It has overwhelmed the system, it has taxed the local municipalities. And I think there's a tendency in this country is like the immigrants of today pay the price of coming in because the immigrants in the past say, we were the good immigrants, the new ones are the bad ones, but that's not the reality. Every immigrant group has had challenges, but every immigrant group actually contributes more than they take.
How did the community react when in a debate, in the only debate that Kamala Harris and Donald Trump had, Trump said that the Haitian immigrant, they eat their pets. Be careful with your pets because the Haitian immigrants are going to eat it. How did the community react?
Well, I think that at first it's shocking because we thought it was a joke. But this is someone that's running for the highest office in the most powerful nation in the world. To be saying things like that, it matters. It has weight. And the fact that he's still this close to being a president is really worrisome of where we're at as a nation. I think we're divided. The divisions, I think, are fake. People are scared, and they're using scapegoats like immigrants. But that is not the reality that people live. When people sort of live with immigrants, they understand that they only make this country better.
Abel Núñez, thank you very much, very kind. Thank you for your analysis. Before going back to you to the studios, I would like to, our sources are telling us that Kamala Harris more probably is going to speak tonight. Let's see if that happens, but that's the information we are getting from our sources. I'm going back to you. We are going to be ready here in Washington for whenever you need us.